All right, so we need to do a little reflection on kind of where we have been. So remember, the second 2/3 of all of these sessions have been the remedy. Data is the diagnosis. It tells us what's wrong. The remedy, we've been saying, is high quality tier 1 instruction. And high quality tier 1 instruction we've been defining as this cross section between these two things. Rigorous alignment, so not just alignment, because alignment's a spectrum, right? But rigorous alignment. Are we aligned to the high levels of things that students need to be successful with to be proficient and beyond? And active engagement. We need both of these. If all my instruction is rigorously aligned but students aren't engaging, it doesn't really matter. If students are engaging and they're talking about all the things we want them to do, and they're doing the work and everyone's getting hundreds but it's not rigorously aligned, it's also not going to matter. We need both of those things. We've talked about those through a lot of different lenses. Some of those lenses we're going to take a second to do a little review on. So I passed out another sheet of chart paper, so if you'll put that chart paper on your tables there. You can leave it on the table. And then each group has a packet of some information. There were only 3 groups, so I left the data one out because we just had a lot of really good conversations on data. So it's the packets. They'll have one of these. So you'll each have one of these and then some other things as well. And they're, like we've done in other sessions, I just snipped some slides and printed them out. So we're gonna do a chalk talk. We've done chalk talk-ish things together, but we've never done just a straightforward chalk talk. So I'll give you a little bit of the rules and how this works. So it is collaborative. However, only the chalk is going to talk. It's a marker. It's not chalk, but marker talk doesn't rhyme. So we call it chalk talk. So you can communicate with each other. Like if someone writes something, you can respond to it. That's okay. You can build on each other's thinking, but it is silent. So the collaboration is happening. It's kind of like a placemat if there were no lines on it, right? You all get to kind of write the same thing. You can build on each other's thinking. So there's 3 or 4 documents at each one. And for each phase of this, I'm going to have a different question for you to respond to. So the first question, kind of the basic question, what is it? And if you weren't here at any of the other sessions, this might be tough at first. You might have to do a little more reading of what others are doing than you are writing your own thoughts. But for this first step, grab a marker, spread the documents out so you can see them all. What is it? That's all you're responding to. What do you see? What do you remember about it? Just what is it? Do y'all have yours? Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna give 1 minute for each step of this. I think I have 4 steps, so it'll take us about 5 minutes to get through this, including transition time. So what is it? All right, let's take about 15 more seconds. This is just for initial thoughts. It's okay if you don't have a lot. It's okay if you do have a lot. So what I need y'all to do is take your documents, put them back together, paper clip them back together. We are going to rotate, but we're going to rotate the stuff this time. You get to stay. Tim and I are going to move the charts and the documents around. All right, I'll take that. And can I have your chart? Got it. Here's your new document. It's all right. This one gets messy. It's okay. All right. New chart, new documents. You've got some new documents. You have some thoughts from the last group around what it is, right? They're answering the question, what is it? Your question this time is, who's it for? And let me elaborate why I think this is an important question. In the past 6 1/3 days in PL together, we've done a lot of things that some of which were explicitly for teachers. Like we were doing pedagogical learning, things that wouldn't go in front of students. We've done some things that were explicitly for students. We were pretending to be 3rd, 4th, 5th grade students, and they're things that could translate more easily to student-facing work. So for this question, who's it for, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's all for students, but who was that work mostly for? And don't just write teachers or students, like defend what you're writing. So who is it for? and a little defense of why.
I think we did that for teachers. We did that last time.
All right, it looks like everyone's already doing it, but go ahead and paperclip your documents back together. Tim and I are going to rotate these around for you. For this last step, since I cut it down from 4 to 3 and I initially had 4 questions, I'm going to go ahead and give you the last 2 prompts to respond to. So you're going to have 2 ways to respond for this last step. So first, how does it connect? Because now you've seen a couple of things. So how does it connect to the bigger picture of what we have done in this 6 1/3 day of PL so far? So how does it connect? And then the last question, why does it matter? Right, we've spent a lot of time talking about some of these things, so hopefully there's a good reason. So how does it connect? Why does it matter? So jot some of those thoughts down. I'll give you a couple of minutes this time since I've given you 2 questions, and then we'll debrief as a group, and then we're going to jump right into some work after that.
For AI.
The formula.
Yeah, the formula. Like what you want to use to enter what you want them to do will give you the content. So why does it matter?
This is a step-by-step to add in.
Yeah, this is like
More
the context.
specifics.
Yep. So things that you want. Why does it matter? It makes it easier for us.
Yes. And it also ties
Helps.
in the
Yeah,
rigor
you can tie in rigor, help with
question
planning.
and the complexity.
Yeah.
All right. So as y'all are wrapping up, I want you to start talking about a name for your chart you have right now. Like if you were going to give it a header, you were going to give it a category, like what's the big idea? I want you to land on a name. Like what is the main idea of the thing you're looking at? And in 1 minute, we're going to come together. Everyone's going to share their categories.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's popped up a lot more. So like we got discussion, discourse, engagement.
Like engagement is just so overused in education.
Right. It's lost all meaning.
I don't want to be cliche, but right. That's what it is.
Engagement through that word.
Engagement through discourse. Yeah.
Okay.
And in this case, it could be math discourse.
And it happened that way because I intentionally planned from the questions I was given.
It could be planned engagement because we're using tasks and.
Yeah.
All right, 5, 4, 2, 1. All right, so I'm the group that has this document. I see it over there. So what is y'all's category? What was all this about?
When.
When? Okay. All right.
When a strategy's best.
So thinking about strategies, like when we should be using strategies, right? When strategies are more or less advantageous. Okay. All right. The group that had this one here.
That's us.
Yes.
Teacher's best friend.
Teacher's best friend. And what is teacher's best friend?
AI, ChatGPT.
Okay, yeah. So these
Context plus command.
Yeah, so these were our slides from last session around how to use AI in a way that can actually be helpful, right? In a way that can be our best friend, not the next iteration of Teachers Pay Teachers, where we don't actually know if it's the right stuff or if it's not the right stuff. Sometimes it is the right stuff, but we got to know how to know, right? And then our last group.
So we said planned engagement through discourse, math discourse.
Engagement, discourse, planned engagement through discourse. Yeah, and these were just some slides from the protocols we did together, the student-facing protocols that we did in last session. 4th grade division benchmark was NSO 22, maybe. Don't look it up because I'm probably wrong. Just assume that I'm close. So that's what that was from.